Connecting, so just bear with us. Hopefully, I'm going to double check this very quickly. That has been a bit of an issue here lately. And there we go. I see we're showing signs of being reconnected. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let me see. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, yeah, there we are. We're back. I'm sorry. I don't know what's causing that. I'm using a different app for streaming because we upgraded our phones, and we went from where we were using Android phone to an iPhone, and so we had to change the applications, and so it does this every once in a while. So I'm going to work on that. We'll see if we can't straighten that out. But anyway, we're back. Let's go ahead and get to our Bible study. We're in Galatians chapter 4. Galatians chapter 4, and verses 12 through 20. We're going to talk about the subject of, and hopefully answer the question that I think in a large part that Paul is asking the believers there in Galatia. What happened to your joy? What happened to your joy? And so, I was thinking about that, and I think that in large part they misunderstood the instructions that they had been given initially. And again, this is a very personal aspect of what Paul is teaching here. And he's really just bearing his heart to them as well. We can get into a lot of trouble if we don't know what the clear instructions for certain things are. I've talked about that before, growing up on the farm, being so much younger than my siblings. I think there was a lot of things that my father thought he taught me, but he probably taught my older siblings. And I didn't always clearly understand the instructions, and it would not be a good outcome when I would get them wrong. And so it was a bit of a challenge. Or if you try to take on a job and you don't have a clear job description in regards to, what's expected of you, that can be very frustrating. Well, it can be frustrating in the Christian life as well if we don't understand what's expected of us, if we don't understand what the process is. And yes, salvation, we understand, is an event in regards to regeneration and being justified before God. But then it also becomes a process whereby we are being sanctified. In other words, when we grow in our faith as well. And so let's begin here in Galatians chapter 4. We pick up in verse 12, and you see how personal it is. Paul says, I beg you, brethren, because become as I am, for I also have become as you are. You have done me no wrong, but you know that it was because of my bodily illness that I preached the gospel to you the first time. And that which was a trial to you in my bodily condition, you did not despise or loathe, but you received me as an angel of God, as Christ Jesus himself. Where then is the sense of blessing you had? He says, for I bear you witness that, if possible, you would have plucked out your eyes and given them to me. So have I become your enemy by telling you the truth? He says, they eagerly, these ones who want to lead them astray, they eagerly seek you, not commendably, but they wish to shut you out so that you will seek them. And so Paul's talking about this first encounter he has with the people in Galatia. And his desire, again, is, as we see in that last part of verse 19, when he refers to them as children, his children, he says, whom whom I again in labor unto Christ is formed in you. And so that's a reality here as well. I'm getting a notification that now the streaming phone has low battery, so let's see how this plays out. Hopefully it will continue until we're done here. Boy, what a day. Anyway, when Jesus Christ comes into your heart, you don't become Christ-like overnight. In other words, you know that it's a gradual process. And so we understand the nature of that. And what he's concerned about, of course, these Christians have strayed from the grace of God. And, some of the hardest words that Jesus had for people during his earthly ministry was that of the Jewish Pharisees, the religious elite. They didn't like his spirit of grace. They didn't minister to everybody. They were very selective in the things that they did, and they were very judgmental in regards to the people who didn't do things their way. And so before we run out of battery life here, I want to deal with the first principle of three principles that relate to our joy in Jesus Christ. The first one is when we help hurting people, it's like helping Jesus. See, Paul is recounting how they welcomed him when he first came to Galatia, and he said in that opening verse,